Okay, this is lesson 105, letter problems. We're getting ready to do letter D. So letter D gives you these, gives you 25 plus 28 plus 31 plus 34. You're supposed to do summation notation. The last one I just did started with a 1 here, and it was pretty easy to figure out the summation notation. This one, when I look and see what it's adding, it looks like it's just adding 3. So I know I'm going to have a 3k in it, but my first term isn't going to be, so there's two ways to write it. Okay, this is the way your book wants you to write it, is starting out with 0. So because the first term wasn't the same thing as your multiplier, see how your multiplier was 8 and your first term was 8? This one, because my first term isn't 3, then I'm going to go ahead and start at 0. Because if I start at 1, well, I would go 3 times 1, and I wouldn't get 25. But if I start at 0, and then count 0, 1, 2, 3 like that, this thing will work out. So I can go 25 plus 3 times 0, well, that gives me my 25. 25 plus 3 times 1 gives me 28. 25 plus 3 times 2, so that's 25 plus 6. That gives me 31. And 25 plus 3 times 3, that's 25 plus 9, that gives me that one. Now, if you really wanted to, you could have written it another way. I probably shouldn't even show you this, but you could have actually written it starting with 1. You could say as k goes from 1 to 4, but then you would have had to go like this, 22 plus 3 times k. See what? They're both the same thing, because that would have worked, right? When I plug in 1, I'd get 22 plus 3 times 1. That'd be 25. See how like both of these work? Okay. Your book wants you to, if this first term isn't the same thing as as the common difference, then it wants you to start at 0. Okay. This one we started at 1 because the first term was the same thing as the common difference. That's letter D. I better hurry up. Here's the letter E. So this has an S on it. That means it wants me to sum up the first 18 terms of a sequence. And so on letter E, or a series. So there's my series, and I'm supposed to sum up the first 18 terms. So I could write them all out and add them all together, but I think that would kind of take a long time. So I just kind of wrote down my series up here, and then I just wrote some term numbers, and then I'm getting ready to I need to plug some of this stuff into my formula, because I have some formulas I can use. So first I had to find out what is it adding by, because this always has this common difference. The common difference turns out to be -10, and then now I know I have these two formulas right here. This is the sum of a series. So remember, if I take the first term plus the last term and multiply it by half of n, remember how we get those pairs that add together like that? But the last term is the 18th term, and I don't feel like writing it all the way out to 18. So I don't have the last term, so I need to actually use this bottom equation. Remember, this is the one that we've had for a while that tells you to get the nth term. So I'm going to use this thing. So, and I actually did right here, didn't I? I busted it out right there. So a of 18 is a of 1. Well, that's my first term. And then 17, because that was n minus 1, right? 18 minus 1 goes right there. And then d was common difference. So then I multiply them together, and I found out that the 18th, now this isn't my answer, this is just my 18th term, And then, now that I have the 18th term, I can plug it into this formula, right? Because remember, we take the first thing and the last thing and we add them up. So the first number in my series was, where did it go? Was 5, right? And the last one was 165. So that's why I put the 5 in the 165. And then half of 18 is 9. So you do all that work and you get, there's the answer right there. Negative 1,440 is the sum of the first 18 terms. That's the answer right there. You can look in your book at the examples of these things. Okay, so the next problem is letter F. And letter F just gives me the summation notation, and it says evaluate it. So when they say evaluate it, or if they just give one to you, you should assume that they want you to add up the terms. This is saying I have to add up the first term plus the second term plus the third term plus fourth plus fifth plus all the way up to the 33rd term. So that would be too much adding for me to write them all out. So I just grabbed the first term, and I remember that I can use that formula that where I get the first term. Remember this formula? You get the first term plus the last term, and then you multiply by half of however many terms there are. That's great if you have the last term, but I don't have the last term. But I can get the last term by using this formula, right? So just plug some numbers in here because I got the first term. I can probably get the common difference. The common difference is 6. I can tell, watch. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3. See, isn't it adding 6? So the common difference is 6. So that's why I went ahead and did this work right here. This is just this this formula right here. The last term would be the 33rd term, so that's the first term, which was 6, plus 33 minus 1 is 32. And the common difference is 6, and I did all that, and I got 198. That's not the answer, that's just the last term. And then I remembered I can plug those in here. I can add up the first term plus the last term, so 6 plus 198, and multiply by however many terms there are divided by 2, so that's actually 33 halves, and the grand total comes out to be 3,366. Okay, you're using these two formulas right here. This helps you find the last term if you don't have it, and then you add the first term plus the last term and multiply it by however many terms there are, divided by 2. Okay, and then here's letter G. G is the last one. So an athlete, he's on a 7-day biking plan. So I know this would go first day, second day, third day, fourth, fifth, sixth. Right, he's going to bike every day for 7 days. And it says something else. It says he's to bike 6 miles on the first day, and then on each day after he has to bike 1.5 miles longer than the previous day. How many total miles will he have? So I already did a few terms. I just said, oh, he'll be this, and then he'll add 1.5, and I did it. And I don't really feel like carrying it all the way out to the 7. I could if I want. It wouldn't take that long, but I thought I would use my formula. So here again it's that formula right there. I want to find the 7th term without having to keep multiplying, so I went, or keep adding 1.5. So n minus 1, well, a sub 1 was 6, remember? And then 7 minus 1 is also 6 times 1.5, and I got all that, and that gave me 15, and then the 15 I can plug it into my this formula right here. So I can go 15 plus, well, remember it was 6 plus 15, and then multiply it by half of 7. So that's what I did, and I got 73.5 miles. And that's all for this lesson.